Day 183. I'm kind of I'm pretty tired. I'm running on fumes today. Luther's been sick the last few days. I missed the last 3 days because Luther's been sick and home from daycare and had a fever and just not having a good time. But I've been trying to keep him as happy as possible as best I can. But between that, he's been waking up a lot throughout the night. And last night, me and my dad went to a Red Wings game together and talked about life and a lot of things. And it's always so great talking to him about just everything. Seeing his perspective on everything. And then of course Luther continued to be sick and not happy, and I didn't get home until 1 a.m. and he was up at 3 o'clock again, and then he was up again at 6 and never went back to sleep. I don't know. It'll be fine. But I'm very tired. But yeah, I mean, I definitely need to start recording some of these with my dad. It's weird, like the older I get, the more I view him as like me in the future. The more I just kind of like to pretend that we're just living like we're the same person, born 30 years apart, and that makes me that makes me trust him more, listen more, think more, ask better questions, and overall just be more engaged. And and it's balancing the humanness of life and everything, and what I want and what he wanted or wants. And it's hard. It's we were talking about we always kind of talk about like decisions we've made and things like that, and it's so funny, like I just in our conversations that we talk like once a month or something about life and everything, and so far in probably, let's say, 6 conversations about this, there's already like 4 or 5 different little moments in time that happened that if they happened differently I wouldn't exist, and my dad literally had a job offer to effectively like work as an apprentice for a year, to eventually like be the business owner, to transition the business to him, because the guy really liked him, and he thought he was smart and hardworking and everything. And my dad didn't know what to do, and he consulted with his friends. And his friends were all CPAs. They're all accountants. And the story goes that this guy, has this offer kind of on the table. And my dad's like never had any money. And this would be like one of his first jobs out of college, like when he had, needs money the most, and feels like he earned it the most. And he's like, 23 or 25 or whatever, and he's, trying to start his life and be an engineer. And this guy gives him this opportunity, or it wasn't fully fleshed out, but it was a possibility, and to take over his business if you come be my number 2 for a while first. And it was funny because on one hand he was kind of just telling me that story. I forgot how he got there too, and I was like, well, you didn't take it, right? And he's like, no. He's like, yeah, I talked to my friends who are CPAs, and they said, don't do it. That's like kind of a thing in CPA land. That's like a really bad thing to do. It's really high risk, that you really have to be really trust the guy to do that, or else you might be wasting years of your life working really hard and not get anywhere. And so he decided against it and took this other job at this engineering firm, and that's where he met my mom. And so I don't know. Maybe I'm totally making this up and it's crazy to think, but if my dad on accident, because he didn't make these friends because they're CPAs, he made these friends because they all hung out at the bowling alley together, and then they just happened to become CPAs. Like if his bowling alley friends were plumbers and apprenticeship was a very normal process to gain ownership or partnership in a company, they would have talked him into it, right? Like, what's the difference? What's the like what? Why wouldn't they talk him into it? I think that's equally valid, and he would have taken it. And honestly, he probably would have done well for himself. He might have done better than he did not, because he's a hardworking dude and he just shows up. He'll always show up and like try really hard and be there. And I would be willing to bet he would have done amazing at owning a business and running it. And I think we started talking about that because I was talking about my business a little bit. And um, but once again, I wouldn't exist. So I'm glad my dad got talked out of being more fortunate, I guess, more well off, and maybe even enjoying his career better. I don't know. It's these are the kind of nuggets of information you find out when you. I think as a kid, you think your job is to point out all the reasons why your parent is wrong, and I'm really trying to let go of that because it's hard. Like it's really hard because you just for whatever reason you think that's like your job, your role, and I'm trying harder to listen, and not because it's more because one, the further you like tell somebody they're wrong, the more they're likely to dig into it. So it's like it's not even productive to like engage in mind changing arguments, which is I think most conversations between parents and kids, But two, it's like I don't know. There's a lot of lessons to be taken from that. Like I'm on this theme and this path right now, the last maybe couple of weeks, where it's like I'm really trying to really watch and appreciate the randomness that creates everything, creates our existence, creates my life. If I got a different job after college, if I went to a different college, like literally some admission person at my college decided who my college friends were going to be, what my experience was going to be, to some degree, like these things kind of like my college girlfriends and stuff, like everything was kind of like decided without my control. And most recently when when my wife was like possibly getting a fellowship or not, like where I live next year is being decided by somebody else. Who my friends are going to be next year was decided by somebody else like 2 months ago, because I have to move now and I have no control over that. And the funny thing is, if anything, like when you're a kid, that's how every day is. Like you don't know if you're going to have to move. You can't understand time. You can't think more than like a day ahead of time, like it's, I feel like as an adult, you like to pretend that the randomness is decreasing and you're having more control. But I think if anything, you're just kind of forgetting or minimizing the things you have no control over. And oftentimes those are the things that got you here. Like I can control the next 2 hours of my life, but I can't control the next 3 years of my life, but I feel I don't care about that part, like I only fight and struggle to control a week or two of my time at any one moment. And I don't know. I just think the randomness of life is just really presenting itself, and I'm really trying to use it as a tool to reduce my anxiety. about everything. Because the more it feels random, the more I can allow myself to not be scared of it and not think I'm doing something wrong when the randomness doesn't produce whatever I wanted or didn't want or whatever I'm fearful of. You know, I think there's a lot of growth opportunities there to just, I mean, it is mindfulness, you know, it's like being here in the present moment, but I think it's also just like, it just feels like, how do I let what is to come happen? Like, obviously I'm going to work hard and try to like have my choice in it as much as I can of what my future is. But at some level, I mean, who I'm married to, what my kids look like, you know, it's all totally out of my control, you know. But yeah. But I really want to hold on to nights like last night. It's so powerful. It's one of the most powerful things I can do right now is to speak to someone who's known me my whole life, who like unconditionally thinks and worries and loves and cares for me and wants the best for me and doesn't know how to help me always because and I don't know what I want, so that it's like this like chicken or the egg, like who can ask or who can help first thing. But there's this person, their like sole purpose and fulfillment comes from me, you know, me existing, me being happy. And you know, and it's just, and they're just sitting there next to you and they're just like, what can I do? How can I help you in life, you know, in anything? Do you want me to build you a house? Do you want me to move? Do you want me to cold call people for your company? Do you want, like, what can I possibly do that would actually help you? And of course, as the kid, you have no idea, right? And then so the parent starts guessing, and that's where I think the conflict comes in, you know. But there's something magical about talking to that person and truly realizing that the sole reason why they want to hang out with you is because they just want to help you for, like, in any way they could possibly help you. Like I can't believe it took me so long. It took me till I had kids, obviously, but it took me so long to realize that as the parent, you literally just want to give them literally anything and everything you can possibly give them. Whatever they ask for, whatever they want, you know. And the hard part is, like, if they ask for one thing, you're always deciding if I should help them in the short term or the long term. And that's where I think the conflict comes in too. It's like, I can give you this, but that scares me because I don't feel like I'm helping you in the long term too, you know? And so I think it's always a difficult choice as a parent of like what to do when and how to do it. But the thing I like I said, I think the thing I've spent a long time not realizing and not letting hey. Oh, okay. Give me like 2 minutes. The thing I stopped, or the thing I've never really put enough emphasis on, is the unconditional nature of the relationship. That this person is extremely happy if I have a good day, and is extremely distraught if I have a bad day, and is lying awake in bed thinking about me most days. You know, until I became a parent, I never really thought that was genuine. I always thought it was some weird transactional thing that I couldn't really put my finger on, But like everything in life, the simplest answer is the right one, which is they truly unconditionally want to help me any way they can. And that's where it's like I gotta ask better questions to get the right help. I don't need their money. I don't need their, tangible things. It's more like, give me your wisdom, What is it? If you don't know, go, think about it. But it's in there somewhere, I just think we get caught up in like the day-to-day stuff when really there's a lot of wisdom in there. If we really said like, what would you tell yourself 30 years ago or whatever? What would you tell yourself as a 30-year-old? What would you tell yourself as a 20-year-old? What would you, like, I just think there's so much to learn thinking back like that. And I got to be more forthcoming with those kind of questions because there's no downside, I won't upset this person. This person loves me unconditionally. It's a tool. I got to use them to learn, to gain, to make better, not to be scared of, something. So I've been doing a lot better job asking for help and asking more better questions. And I think I need to really keep pushing that, going further and further. Because I'm going to get out what I ask for, and not more, not less. So, but just a great day, great night, There's just a feeling you get when you're with your parent that you just feel like everything's fine, You're safe again. So, all right, well, have a good day.